Ooh, we're out here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4 of Eat the Cake Anime. It's I, the homie Mac, aka your boy. And of course, I am joined by the homie Jackie. And after our conversation last week, we decided this week we are going to talk about Kaiju number 8. And
Yeah.
she had no objection. She was super excited to do that. So without further ado, we'll get into the opening, and then we shall partake in dissecting this beautifully done manga and anime. Man, some of those clips in the opening, like I've seen them before, and they're like, man, I wouldn't mind going back watching that episode or that scene one more time. But appreciate you guys tuning in. 10 o'clock East, 7 o'clock West. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 8, Kaiju number 8. Now, I know Jackie is very high on this one. I think this is one of the ones you were kind of like talking about. Like if you haven't seen it, get on it. So just real briefly, tell them kind of a general synopsis of how you're feeling about this IP here.
So it's like about an older guy, I guess. It's not like finally the main character isn't about a young kid, peaking in high school. It's about someone who peaked in their 30s, much like the rest of us. But basically, yeah, he eats a weird demon-looking thing and obtains its powers, and he kind of goes through like the first season really is all about how he's dealing with that and trying to learn how to control it while hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's a breath of fresh air type of anime. Like he's not like he's kind of OP, but his character design as a person is really relatable. It's funny, but the action scenes are sick. The soundtrack's great. So overall, like it's just a really great action anime about a dude that just wants to be like next to someone that was like his childhood friend and just kind of got the low ball or low ball and bad end of the stick, whatever you want to call it.
Stick.
Short end of the stick,
there you
yeah.
Go.
Basically, and then you just see how he does with that.
Yeah. So I guess the setting you could say takes place like in a world where it's modern day Japan. They've been dealing with kaijus for so long that they created a defense force, kaiju defense force, and there's a whole process of the aptitude test, all of that stuff, kind of like
it's like Chainsaw Man merged with kind of JJK, kind of merged with Fire Force, kind of merged with, I don't know. Like that's when I first watched it, I was like, this reminds me of Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. So like Jackie said, follows the main character, Kafka Hibino. And so he's a member of the cleanup crew after the defense force kills these huge kaijus, guts, blood, all that stuff, organs everywhere. The defense force, gets to parade the, hey, thanks for saving us. And then they call in the cleanup crew, which our guy Kafka, who I think is 34, which Jackie said is like one of the reasons I feel this is being celebrated or being widely accepted is because the older generation of anime heads are watching it like, oh, it's not a fucking, high school kid that's like super powerful and dope. It's like a working class dude who is all about, doing everything he can to try to join the Defense Force because he tried to take the test multiple times, failed, couldn't get in. So the closest thing he can do is be a member of this cleanup crew, and they get no love. So he's in the middle of a cleanup. A kaiju shows up. He gets injured, and he's in the hospital. And like, I think it's like the first episode. Like
It's so disgusting.
he's healing up, and then he just wakes up in the hospital, and there's this huge like kaiju bug, just forces itself into like it's just that scene. I'm just like I tensed up a bit, but him
when
doing
I watched it, I was like, ugh, oh my god.
It gives him powers that he doesn't know yet until like all of a sudden he just turns into a kaiju, and the adventure starts from there. Him trying to hide the fact that he can turn into a kaiju because the world does not like kaijus. But he's able to kind of disguise it and activate it as needed. So it's an awesome premise. I like it. Some people, I have a coworker who's watching it, and they're just, you know what, kaiju? It reminds me of Attack on Titan. Like it's a poor man's Attack on Titan, and I sat and thought about it, and I'm just like, I can see their point. Like how Eren can like transform into a Titan and take care of some things. How Kafka can turn into the kaiju and take care of things.
Yeah, but Eren was a really frustrating character, kind of, in like the first few seasons.
Yeah, but I mean, like on a shallow, like I guess general thing. If you're trying to explain it to somebody, like kaijus are a thing. We have a guy that can turn into a kaiju to fight back, just like Titans were a thing, and Eren can turn into a Titan and fight back. But the overall aspect, like the premise of it is not as dark and as grimy as Attack on Titan was, but I think it's a great thing. And so with that out of the way, let's start talking the manga and the creation of that. All right, so I've been working on my Japanese a little bit. Not really.
Oh.
No, I have not. So like these names. So these names, again, I'm doing my best, so don't murder me. But of course, creator Naoya Matsumoto. He's the creator of this. He began his career in 2006, creating a story, Neko Romancer, that was published in a Jump, kind of a collection of stories and stuff. A lesser known one than Shonen Jump. But then he got picked up to do the Shonen Jump when he started creating the Kaiju number 8. The biggest thing, obviously, he was influenced by a lot of the I think the genre is called tokusatsu media, like Ultraman, like the Power Rangers, like they get together, form, grow big, fight other big monsters and things like that. A really big influence, he said, was Shin Godzilla, which was in 2016, Pacific Rim, things like that. So he was thinking how to incorporate the kaiju genre with anime and try to put I guess a shonen twist to it, which led to the creation of Kaiju number 8, which I feel is super dope. I think the biggest thing he said, he aimed to create a story that follows a protagonist who has to achieve their goal while hiding their identity from a hostile organization that they're also a part of, seeing it as an entertaining concept. So with that, we kind of already described it. But the biggest thing about it is the choice of protagonists. I think that is the biggest difference between our current shonen that are out there and super popular. And you kind of elaborated on that. So I don't know if you kind of dabbled in a little bit of it, or you did a little bit of research on a little bit more of the manga. But what are your thoughts on that?
I can definitely see the like Power Rangers themes a little bit with like the gigantic monsters. I did not read the manga. I'm a huge like I like to watch first and then I'll go back and read afterwards because it's like I'm experiencing it again but
Yeah.
differently because they always go in more detail in the manga and there's things that are never included in the anime.
Uh-huh.
Whereas sometimes if you read the manga first, then you watch the anime, it's like uh you'll see some things that are missing and sometimes you can get disappointed.
Yeah.
But um I mean, I think the cool thing too that he decided to do with that being the protagonist that like has to hide his identity and everything,
Uh-huh.
it's like him and this other guy that kind of like work together and are trying to go to the defense force and it's clear that the other guy who is younger, you know, is going to make it, but they like choose Kafka as the primary, and I think his choice to do that instead and like center it on him was probably the best choice he could have done, which kind of helps with the success of where the manga went, and now the fact that it's an anime.
Yeah. So the second, I guess you could call him the sidekick as of now, Reno
Hmm.
Ichikawa. So he's an 18-year-old. So I think that's the dynamic that I like about it is the fact that, Kafka is 34-year-old, blue collar. You kind of get his backstory, him, and we'll talk about the captain of the defense force team that he's on. Super OP. Again, it's one of those things where they take this test as kids or whatever to kind of test their aptitude, and she's just naturally gifted, like a prodigy at this thing. So
Yep.
she is able to excel through the ranks to the rank of captain, while he is number 3 on the cleanup crew or whatever, So,
Yeah.
and the fact that Reno, the 18-year-old, was also a member of the cleanup team. He sees during the attack that springs up on him while they're cleaning up one of the kaiju that have been defeated. He sees the selflessness and the determination of Kafka trying to save him from the kaiju and all of that stuff. So he kind of starts looking at Kafka as, the big brother. I don't want to say father figure, but, calls him senpai, all that good, all the terms of endearment for that. So you
Yeah.
start seeing that relationship build to the point where even after Kafka finds out that he's been turned into a kaiju, Reno could easily, turn him in and all that stuff. But he remembers all of the stuff that Kafka did in the short time that they've known each other. Like, you saved my life. Let's, you know, I'll keep your secret. Let's go do this defense force test again. I'm rooting for you, but he's kind of hesitant because he knows Kafka is trying to figure out how to maintain hiding the kaiju stuff, and he doesn't want anything bad
Hmm.
to happen to him. So that dynamic in and of itself between those characters, I think that's endearing too, because you're not getting the standard protagonist, and then they're kind of, you know, anti-protagonist, or they're kind of rival at that point.
Yeah, there's no rival. It's more like a not even a peer to peer. It's like role model to like his not subordinate, but regardless of the fact that he's not really that strong or anything as Kafka, like Reno looks like up to him and wants to be more like him. And it
Yeah.
more centers around Reno wanting to compete with other people and then just like helping out his senpai overall.
Yep. So when it comes to that, quick rundown of the plot. So childhood friends Kafka, that's the main character, and Mina, who is the childhood friend, where they make that vow, like, because a kaiju destroyed their town. They're like, you know what, we'll never let this happen again. Let's join forces and we'll swear to rid the world of kaijus. And they did this cool little handshake thing, and then you find out that she has left him in the dust as far as fulfilling that, and he is just always determined now to get up there. So Mina is 27, and no, Kafka is 32. So the 34
Hmm.
thing. I'm just trying to make him older than what he is so I can relate to him. But so yeah, he's failed the examination numerous times and is on the cleanup crew. So they keep testing, and they finally take another test to join the third division, which is where I guess the region that they're in, where Mina is the captain. So there's that working on. There's that working. The whole, childhood promise. I got to try to stand next. I want to be by her side and help rid the world of these things. On
You
top
gotta
of,
have the childhood promise.
yeah, it gets me every time. I promise we'll be there together. Come, let me join you. And like when you see some of the episodes, or if you read the manga, you start really rooting for this guy to get to where he needs to get to be next to be able to fight by her side on the battlefield and stuff. So a lot of the things that I read when I was looking at this is the the most of these that we've covered, it's just one person. The creator is also the illustrator, does all of the work for the things. But the thing with Matsumoto is he has 3 assistants to help him out. So he has Osamu Kawai, who is responsible for the background art. So he has somebody doing the settings in the background. He has Jiro Sakura, who does the finishing work, so kind of cleans up the art, the rough artwork. And then Mantohihi, I guess, I'm sorry, Benta, who is credited for the weapon design. So the fact that, and I thought that was kind of cool that you're trusting somebody to come in and kind of add to your story to that part. Because some people were like, they have a vision and they're like, I'm going to draw it and you guys just do what I do. But for him to do the characters, somebody else to do the environment, the background work, and then someone to create these weapons. Because the weapons in this show are incredible. You start seeing like the basic rifles and stuff that they use, but the stronger the member is in the defense force, or the higher the rank is, the more outlandish and fucking overpowered these weapons get. So I don't want to lead too much into the anime, the whole thing, but the weapons in there, same weapons in the manga. So tell us what you think about like the weapon designs, and I guess actually your thoughts on like the I guess the combat, because you have the kaiju who obviously are physically more dominant and like evolved way past the capabilities of humans, but the things that the humans have been able to create to combat those, like how are you feeling about their weapons and their ways that they can defend themselves against the kaijus?
I thought it was interesting that they created like this, because everyone has like a suit that's a part of that defense force, and then that suit is going to amplify their like strength, their speed, their defense based off of like what their already known physical capacity is as like humans, which is dependent upon like their training or whatever the case is. So I thought that was a really interesting concept. I know it's probably been done in like other animes where a suit is gonna do that, but I never seen it where like there's different percentages, and then depending on the percentage was dependent upon what weapons or things you can do. I also liked that even though you could have an output power of like, I don't know, we'll say like 80%, there are still other weapons you cannot handle. So like the captain, for example, she specializes in massive freaking cannons, whereas the vice captain, who's personally one of my favorite characters.
Well, he is cold.
Yeah,
He's a cold dude.
I can see this is where like I can see someone talking about it's a poor man's Attack on Titan, because he reminds me of Levi
100%
a little bit. And if anyone's seen the anime, they probably know one specific instance of where that could be a factor. But he cannot do like guns that well. He cannot also do like long range weaponry. He has to do like close up combat, and then also I like how some of the weapons, it just fits the personalities too of the people. It's not even just like I'm really strong so I can just do all this stuff. It's like the way that I am built and the way that my mindset is like this specific type of weapon is what's gonna be effective, and I can't just pick up like this large weapon and also do the same thing.
Yeah, and that even goes to the basic weaponry that they start out with, right? So along with the suit that kind of pulls your innate powers and ability out, which is crazy because the suits and the weapons, they're made from previously destroyed kaijus, right? They use pieces and organic
Yep.
things from the kaiju to create the armor and the weapons. So it pulls out your innate abilities and stuff. So when you first see it, right, when Kafka ends up joining by the skin of his teeth the defense force at the lowest level, they give him this suit, and you're thinking, oh, if it pulls out your inner power, like, because he's already, like, the viewer and the reader knows he's a kaiju. You're thinking, like, when this suit gets on
Hmm.
him, the readings will be off the chart, right? The wild
Yeah.
thing is, of all the people that put the suits on, his is the lowest. I think it was like at a 1,
I
and
thought it was like
it was 0
zero
at first.
percent, and then it like
It
got to
jumped to a
zero
1
point
when
one.
he was like, like trying to power up like a Saiyan, and it went to
Yeah.
0. And so
Well,
the
because I
funniest
think
thing,
it
yeah,
doesn't just go based off your own physical power. I think it also goes based off of like mindset, where for him, his physical power is so low. I think the only reason why he's
right,
able to get something out of it is because like his mindset. I also wonder, and again, I haven't read the manga, but I wonder if like him absorbing that kaiju is also inhibiting a little bit of what he's able to put out, but I don't know. Because they, like, throughout the show, like, you would think, and even through the manga, like, what if he powers up while he has the suit on? Like, that has to show something, maybe. But when he's not changing at his normalness, it's dormant, essentially. So you cannot sense anything except that he's a normal human being that literally can't do anything other than, normal human stuff, walk to the grocery store and talk. One thing I read though, I want to talk about a little bit about the design too. That besides just the
yeah,
weaponry is that I read is that when the artist was creating it, I guess he struggled in creating manga in general. Like he was not good at it. He didn't understand like the whole concept of what manga should look like, which is why all this team of people
oh,
were
okay,
coming in to kind of help him. And not only was the storyline influenced by what you said, but the designs was influenced for him mainly by Oni specifically.
oh,
And then in the art of the like manga, you'll see on the covers that the kaiju has his specific kaiju has like a blue glow, and I guess that was inspired by Tron, the 1980s film
ooh.
Tron.
I could see that because yeah, like during certain moments, there the little, I guess, gaps in between like his armor plates will get that like
Hmm.
neon blue glow, and that's kind of, it never amazes me like you can just draw inspirations, just the smallest inspiration
Hmm.
from something, because like you hear somebody be like inspired by Tron, you're thinking like futuristic cyber bikes and stuff. He's like, no, I just like the neon glow, so I just threw that in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it adds so much because when we start talking about the anime and the actual production and the animation and the actual visuals, when
Hmm.
these combats and when the power ups start, it's super dope. But like you were talking about the vice captain Hoshina, so so Mina, obviously we talked about her super skilled, the strongest one, hence why she's the captain of the third division. Her abilities allow her to like create these supercharged cannon shots. So when it comes to like taking out the gigantic, and
It's one shot,
there's different
sometimes two.
levels. Yeah, she takes guys out 1 or 2 shots. And the way they display it in the manga is like the the kickback from this cannon is no joke. So when she braces herself, like these bracers come out, lock herself down, and she's like on
Yeah.
top of this building, and it's like 1 or 2 shots, and this dude is done. The minute they find out where the core is at, she can just take that thing out.
Yeah, and there's three different kinds too. There's like the Yoju, which is like the smaller ones, which is you could just take them out with regular
The rifles and stuff, yeah.
guns or you know, front or face-to-face combat. Then you have the Hanju, which are the biggest and most powerful kaiju, so those are the ones that sometimes she'll get called upon, or other people it takes like the whole team
Yeah.
to do that. And then the big ones, which is the worst ones, is the Daikaiju.
Yep.
And then I think those are the ones that will get numbers as well. And if they're identified, it's because like like either it was a huge disaster, like cities got wiped off the the face of the earth, essentially. A lot of casualties. Oh, that was the other anime I forgot to say that it reminded me of, or manga, was One Punch Man.
Oh, the different levels of threats like dragon and all that stuff.
That's
Yeah.
what it also. That's what that was the main thing. It was like Chainsaw Man, One Punch Man. Like that was the big two that I could see elements of like that in it.
I think one of the also the other thing I love about this one is he is not one to shy away from comedy in in this story.
Oh,
So
dude, it's hilarious.
as serious as the situations is, like saving the world, like cities being destroyed, people dying, he finds time in between the fights for like human interaction and letting you know that Kafka isn't just the just super dude that is just immune to awkward situations and things like that. So a lot of the jokes come from his squad mates who are all relatively younger than him, 18, 17, early 20s, and he's out here 32, which to me is pretty young. But you know, like when you're in the military, you know, like when the younger cats come in, they'd be like, "What? You're what, 30 something?" Like
Yeah.
you know,
Which 30 is like, now that I'm
it's
in my
not.
30s, I'm like, this is actually not that old.
It's not.
And like even like as I get older, I'm like 50 even.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about 50 lately because now I'm in my 30s. So I'm like 20 years,
It's
man.
coming down. It's coming up. Yeah.
It's not that old. I think maybe once you get in your 70s, that's officially like maybe we can start talking about
But
being old.
to like, you know, 18, like teenagers, early 20s, they're just like, oh man, you know, like you're old. You joined when I was in middle school or something like that. Like, yo,
And they always
shut
call
up.
him the old. They also always call him the old guy, which is like
Yeah.
my favorite. And they make jokes about him. But even like I watched the first episode, right? Sorry, I know we're kind of
No, it's
dabbling a
cool.
little bit in the anime, but even like the second episode, where like now he's like this fully transformed kaiju, and I was laughing. It's been a while since there's an action anime like that was like that hilarious. Like you never would have seen some of that stuff that they were doing. It was so funny. He had no idea how to control the power, and it was just him. It was 100% him. He just looked completely different, which I think was easier for Reno to like, you know, be like, chill, I got you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna help you out. That's
Man.
so funny, man.
Hilarious. And like I know it was good when because my wife was watching the first episode with me, and you know when he does his first transformation and they're running, and he's like, man, I feel like I gotta pee, and but he's in the kaiju form, he doesn't know
That's what I'm
anything.
talking
Yeah.
about.
And he's like, I'm a pee, and Reno's just like, no, bro, don't do it, that's gross. And he turns back and look, and he's like peeing out of his nipples because he's like, what are you doing? Yeah, bro, I was losing it. My wife was laughing. She was like, yo, what is this?
I told Steven because I had watched it before Steven.
Yeah.
Because normally I'll go through and I'll watch an episode or two to see if it's like worth it, and I'm like, hey, Steven, we gotta watch this. And before Kaiju was even like made a big deal, it came out. I saw it and I was like, oh, what's this? And I threw on the first episode. I was like, oh my god, this is actually really good. And then that episode happened, and I told Steve, I was like, just wait until this part, and we were dying laughing on the couch. He's like, put on the next episode. I was like, I know, it's that good.
Yeah. All right, let it ride.
Yeah.
But the manga obviously was doing so well, and then you know Crunchyroll starts backing it a bit because you know, if you've been watching anime on Crunchyroll, like Crunchyroll was just like, hey, you know, premiering on this date, Kaiju number 8. So they were kind of amping it up like the animes coming, but they were helping boost the sales and the popularity of the manga. They were fronting to have billboards put up in Paris, in like a lot of the other bigger cities, promoting this. So obviously that kind of helps it. So when you're looking at you know, the manga sales, the first series sold like over 90,000 the first week, like physical copies, 69,000 the second week, and then by December in 2020, because the manga I believe came out, I want to say 2018. I got to scroll back up and look. I forgot to write that down.
I thought I saw 2020, but I could be wrong.
That might be it. But yeah, it was starting to pick up, right? It was selling, and people were just like, oh shit, you know, like this can be
Yeah.
something. And I think right now, I don't know if you have the number. Like, I think it's over 50 million, if
Let
I'm
me
not
look up
mistaken.
sales right now. 15 million copies.
1.5 million.
So, yep.
Yep. And
That have been printed physically and sold digitally as of the release of Volume 13, and then 1 million more than the previous check-in last month. So add another
yep. So,
million on there.
and I haven't heard anything from the creator saying that it's planning on ending anytime soon. So you can just expect that number to grow. And even if it does end, as the anime is running, more people will kind of stumble across it later on in the seasons and kind of pick it up, because I think that's how Demon Slayer is in it. Because Demon Slayer is, the manga is done, the story is complete, but because of the popularity of the anime, like people are seeking out and trying to buy the manga or download it digitally and things like that. So that's why their sales are like fucking through the roof, record breaking type stuff there. So yeah, so it's another banger where the manga was popular over in Japan and stuff, and over in Western culture. Very few people are picking up on manga before the show starts or the anime adaptation begins. But after the anime drops, people see it and they want to get ahead in the story. So that's when they start getting the manga and start checking it out. So just I see this probably being one of those modern anime that end up breaking the sales chart, getting up in there, overtopping some of the longer running anime or the mangas that, just like we were talking about JJK, usurping a lot of these classic, you know, manga and anime titles just because the timing that it came out, and I guess the ease of access to get them digitally, which do count towards the sales, because a lot of these other ones like One Piece back in the day and
Yeah.
Berserk back in the day, things like that, like we weren't able to get them. Like you'd be going on eBay or ordering them offline from or online from Japan and paying ridiculous amounts of money for like 3 chapters of the stuff, so
Yeah, or like what people were doing is putting all like translations online, which they still do, but lately it's been getting cracked down a lot. A lot of those websites now you can't really read or watch illegally as much as you used to be able to.
yep.
And I think it's really cool that a lot of these mangas and like even webtoons and stuff like this, like Kaiju number 8, that Crunchyroll is picking up on so fast, or um, different types of animation studios are like finding like we need to animate this, and like because it never used to be like that. And
Mm-hmm.
also I feel like animes back in the day too, they would stray a lot from the manga, and they would stray from because a lot of animes too, some of it are not even mangas. They'll be what's called novels,
Yep.
and they won't even be made into mangas. They might be made into webtoons now, which is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Before it's even made into a manga, it's either or. The way that it usually goes is there's a novel, and then there's the manga and or a webtoon, or it's like novel webtoon. Well, no, it's novel webtoon or anime, or novel manga then anime is what I've been seeing lately with some of these.
Uh-huh.
For some, it's just like I think Kaiju is only a manga, but that's the way it's been going. And I mean, I think just with how popular manga and anime is becoming now, like it's really easy now to find these gems that for people who don't really like to read or never did read those things, it's so easily now to find them
Yeah.
and animate them.
Yeah, and I feel the fact that he does have a team helping him out will kind of
Yeah.
lessen the burden on trying to produce all of that stuff, because you have beloved stories and properties like Hunter x Hunter, where the creator took a hiatus, right? Like, I'm a chill. And to your point where you're talking about anime straying from the manga, which lead to filler episodes and
Mm.
stuff. Like when you look at a property like Bleach, where I actually watched the anime before getting into the manga. Like the anime, I'm just watching it, and there's all these arcs, and I'm just like, man, this is dope. This is dope. Then I read the manga, and I'm just like, well, where's the bounce? Where's all this other stuff?
Mm.
And then I go, that was fucking like a whole season, like 20, 30
Yeah.
plus episodes were just, and that's kind of where the greed of the animation companies and production companies and stuff get in, like, make some shit up. And people are like, what
Yeah.
the fuck you want me to do? There's no source material.
Yeah.
Just roll with it, you know? And
Which I know we're like straying a little bit from the
right.
topic, but to talk about the fillers too, and like with Bleach, or just shows in general that have that, some of the fillers are actually pretty good, and
Yeah.
they do describe a portion of the story that the manga never really gets into. Like Bleach, the one arc that's probably their only best filler they ever had was when they talked about the Zanpakutos and the origins of them and like
Yeah.
how they all came to be. That's not in the manga at all.
No.
But that's cool. Like I kind of wish the manga did,
Yeah.
go more in detail about
Yeah.
how did everyone get their thing, or how did it come to be, like how did it start, but they never get there. They only really focus on like Ichigo.
I know. But it's like I said, this one so far, every episode of the first season, no filler. It's only 12 episodes, I believe.
Right now, yeah.
There's been no slow episodes. They all end on a, like, there's no way you just watching to be like, okay, I have enough. Especially now that all
It was
12
a
are out.
cliffhanger. Every single episode
Yep.
was a cliffhanger.
And the fact that all 12 are out, because I was watching it as it was simulcasted, so I'm just waiting
Same.
till the next week. So the fact that you can now, if you haven't checked it out, just hit up Crunchyroll and watch all 12 or wherever you stream your. I
I'm
think
very
it's just,
jealous for the people that do get to do that, because
it was tough. Like I try to do that, but there's a small clique of anime heads at work, so they're just like, you haven't watched it? Like, I didn't start watching it till it was like 4 episodes in, and they're just like, dude, you
Yeah.
got it. I'm like, I can't. I want to. And then they talked me into it. Then I was stuck in that fucking wait until the next season or the next week stuff. So, which I don't mind. It's all good. But like we talked about the manga, super dope. The art, the inspiration and stuff like that. So now we can get into the meat and potatoes and get into the anime adaptation of this beautiful story. So I want to let you start off with this because I know last week you are very into the music, which I am too. But I feel like the first few episodes we're talking about My Hero and Demon Slayer, we didn't give the actual music side of the anime enough love. So we're trying to correct that. And shout out to Jackie for bringing that to light. So, Jack, if you want to talk about the music that goes along with the anime.
Well, so one thing I thought was really cool is that the opening and ending were both in English, and that was very interesting. I always love, like, I think that one of the first animes that, I don't want to say first animes, but in a long time, especially with newer animes, the first one that I noticed that started doing some English openings was Fire Force, which has a sick opening.
Yes.
Whatever. We'll go into that later. But when Kaiju number 8's opening started and I first watched it, I was like, okay, this is like interesting looking because it's realistic, like
It's like
AI
CGI,
kind of.
yeah.
It's weird, really weird looking, but it's like kind of cool. And then it's by this person named Young Blood, and I looked him up. I thought he was an American. He's not.
I think he's British, right?
Sorry, I'm pulling up his name right now. Yeah, he's he's an English
English,
singer-songwriter and actor. I don't know what he's acted on. I didn't really look at that, but he's got a lot of other songs. But the one songs that he made was from Fall Guy. If you've ever seen that movie, but I haven't watched that. But a song is called Abyss. It opens up and it's just like kind of a rock rap kind of like song, and it's just really interesting with like, it's very trippy, with the opening, and then it goes into this like emo-ish like rock kind of sound, and it's like, okay, I can totally get down with this. And my favorite part every single time in the opening is like the second part where he's like, save my life, and it's just the the kaiju that like has the smile and all the eyes and they're like
Yeah.
wiggling like this. It's fucking, I don't know why, but it's so like visually pleasing with like the like the music too. It's really good. I've played the song so many times.
Yeah.
And what surprised me is the ending is by One Republic. Where
Mm-hmm.
have those nerds been?
I have no idea.
It
It
came out of nowhere.
right.
So a part of me was like, this is awesome. One Republic's doing an ending for an anime. But then another part of me was like, damn, One Republic, did you realize, you know, your music is like not as popular anymore now? You're going towards the anime route. Which I mean is not bad either. But it's a good ending, and I also loved how the visual of the ending was different than the opening. The opening's very kind of creepy, visually trippy. Like that would be like for people who like to do, you know, drugs. I don't do that, obviously.
Little psychedelic.
They would have a great time watching that opening over and over and over again. Um, but the ending is kind of like One Piece had when they switched their animation style and everything got really great. And some animes too, their openings, the way their styles would go is very like smooth cartoon, if that makes sense. And the colors are like pastel kind of, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very like chill kind of watching. Like you feel like very. It's another appealing type of animation.
Mm-hmm.
And then that song was also amazing too. Like I'm like, oh, this is also a really good song. And I was playing the song for Steven before he even watched it, and he's like, who's this? This is a good song. I was like, oh, it's the ending of the anime that I want you to watch with me, by
Right.
the way. He's like, really? This is an ending for it? I was like, yes,
Yeah.
it's One Republic. So, yeah, Youngblood, English singer, songwriter, and actor. He's kind of reminds me of like good Charlotte, that kind of he's got that emo look, like his hair is like red and black, and then he also changes his hairstyle, like kind of looks like back in those days, kind of like pop rock, not pop rock, sorry, emo pop, which is what made me like it even more. But super good song. I did look up his other music. I wasn't a biggest fan of a lot of the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm such a huge like when it comes to like openings and endings that like sometimes will make or break like how you're gonna feel about an anime,
Mm-hmm.
and then the OSTs in general, which is like
Amazing.
the soundtracks are
Yeah.
just like really 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 sick. And the animation studio that did all of it, Production IG, which
Mm-hmm.
production has done a lot, been around for a really long time. Has like done what Ghost in the Shell, Psychopaths, Haikyuu, which I've never watched Haikyuu. It's like it's been on my watch list for years. I just haven't watched it. Um, but either way, like they've done a lot of like, oh, Eden of the East, Guilty Crown is just really really great anime too. But what else do they do? I'm looking. Oh, Blood, The Last Vampire. Oh, video games wise. Oh, I didn't know they actually did video games too. Interesting.
I can see that because a lot of the set pieces, combat and stuff like I could see that being kind of inspired by like a video game cutscene or something like that. Maybe that's what they do is they like do cutscenes for some of these like I would say JRPGs and things like that.
Yep.
But yeah, the I always love it when there's memes that have gone around like the anime opening is like the most action packed, like the music gets you hyped for the show, and then the ending will be some they're just walking, looking up at the star, little ballad is
Yeah.
playing or something like that. The 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 difference in contrast, you get Youngblood with
Yeah.
this opening where you see like some DNA gets spliced and then it evolves into this kaiju and just starts spreading and all this other stuff. And you hear this man, someone please save my life.
Yeah.
Like the guitars come in, the drums are heavy. You're just like, yo, this shit is And
So good.
then like the episode will be ending and a big ass cliffhanger, and then One Republic comes on with this little, bubbly, nobody love you
This
the way
bop.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such
Yeah.
a catchy song. It's good.
Nobody.
It's
I'm just
such
like,
good.
yo, how did they the to be able to just find that balance to be like this fits at the end, and it absolutely does. It's like we were talking about JJK, how you'll have you know, the opening to that, and then it rolls right into Lost in Paradise, and they're just chilling, going shopping and
Oh
stuff, and you're
yes.
just like, I fucks with it. I love it, and it's very well done. But Yuta Bando is the one who's in charge of the original the OST. So if you want to check that out, I know Apple Music has it. Um, Spotify may have it. I don't know, but I just Google like the thing, and once it tells me, hey, go listen to it here, that's where I go listen to it at. But please make sure to check that out because it's amazing. And I feel sometimes like you do fall in love quickly with openings and endings, but then like when you just take the time to kind of listen to the music in the background, because I'm distracted by obviously the visuals, and like every now and
Yeah.
then I'll tap in, but like if I'm just like working at my desk or something, I'll just play like a OST, and you can just appreciate the music and be like, yo, this is beautifully done. Like,
Yeah.
what part of the show was this in? And then you go back and check it out, and you're just like, oh, it fits perfectly to this scene. So,
Yeah. And I thought maybe like did One Republic create the song specifically for Kaiju number 8? And that's not true. They came out with a new album called Artificial Paradise, which is their sixth one, which I
hmm
didn't even know they came out with an album. And then I guess like from there the creators were like, we want this song at the end.
yeah,
Whereas Youngblood did specifically create that opening for Kaiju number 8, which when you go look it up, it is the same like length that it is for the opening. There's no like additional chorus or bridge or anything like that for it.
yep. So, the anime obviously received hella positively, right? I don't think there was any kind of I don't know what you would call them, like review agency or any of those properties like Anime News Network or things that cover and be like, hey, this is kind of the Rotten Tomatoes for anime.
Yeah.
Nobody has said anything bad about this thing. Everybody's praising it. Kind of praising both the animation and the music working well together for like the darker parts where you're dealing with the heavy things, the world building and stuff, to the lighthearted comedy, human interactions when they're not on duty, the just the teams kind of building and stuff. Nothing but
Yeah.
praise for production IG. And then
Yeah, they did a really good job, especially like with the fight scenes.
mhm,
It's crazy how this anime can be so lighthearted, almost like a slice of life kind of vibe,
right.
and with like the humor. And like the last 10 minutes of it, it can get so serious, like you're watching just a regular action drama, whatever it is, type of like fantasy show, and it's like I don't know, it takes you through. It's just such an enjoyable watch.
Indeed. And like every week you have people breaking down each episode and nothing negative. Like every episode, they say it is well done as far as how it builds upon itself, the world building. They're not going too fast. They're not taking, going too slow. And then for some of the bigger fights, like between numbered kaiju, because obviously we have kaiju number 8, who's Kafka. Then we're introduced to, I believe it's kaiju number 9, who
Yeah, which is
has infiltrated
wild.
infiltrated the defense cleanup. So learning about trying to, I guess, evolve to another state to where they can obliterate, because the kaiju's are like, we want to get rid of humans.
Yeah, and they kind of go into the thing about the anime that I like too, and I'm sure the manga does the same thing, has a little bit of a mystery behind it. You don't actually know why all the things are the way they are. They don't really talk about it until later on in the season. They kind of discuss like how this came to be, and that there's other like bigger things out there too. But obviously, like as you continue to watch, just like any other anime, there's more things that no one realizes. There's a
Mm-hmm.
bigger, badder enemy than you realize there is.
Right.
Um, but I thought that what they also did well with pacing is a lot of times when people like get a new power, sometimes you get so focused on we got to create a training arc or some type of thing to talk about how people are going to like level up or, you know, get used to whatever. And they did a really good job with Kafka. Like it's not that they, like you said, they didn't sprint forward too far, they didn't go too slow. It's just like maybe a couple months later, like it's still like you didn't miss anything kind of thing. It was just him trying to figure out life and still trying to apply for this defense force. But like, why spend time on that? Because there was no point. And I thought they did a really good job at capturing like that piece of like, we don't have to like focus so much on these things because that's not like the point of like the story, which I think helps uh, uh, keep the audience's attention span, if you will.
Yep. And the thing I like about it, and I feel like, my bad for forgetting to mention this. Just going back, double checking notes. The world that it's set in, like there's the main manga storyline with Kafka and stuff, but then there's, they got a spin-off manga, Kaiju number 8, the B side, which ran from January 5th to July 12th this year. It's based off of the light novel, like you were talking about. A lot of these things are light novels, and then they're just like, we'll kind of take that and add to it. But the spinoff, the B side, focuses more on the side stories of the Defense Force members. So instead of it kind of just focusing
Oh, okay.
on Kafka and his main story, and the anime kind of lets you in a little bit on some of his
Yeah.
teammates and stuff, but the manga actually gives you like the backstory for things like that. And it's been rumored that before the season 2 drops of Kaiju number 8, following the main storyline of the manga, there'll be like a kind of like a side. I don't want to say like a spin-off, but yeah, a spin-off where you'll start getting more of the backstories of the team members, which I'm a big fan of that because I love
Yeah.
character development, how they're
Same. Yeah,
displayed.
I know some people don't like the backstories, but yeah, I'm also a huge fan. And sometimes some spin-offs and some animes I'll like watch and I'll always be like, yeah, that was kind of boring. I don't know why they had to do that. It's like, yeah, let's just put some stuff out because we're waiting for the next season to come out. I like when there's intent behind the spin-offs. I
Yeah,
think that's better than like let's just put some. I think they're not called OSTs, but Slime
yeah,
does that a lot where they'll put like random like OP uh episodes where there'll be like 4 of them, but they're not really pertinent to the story.
exactly. So, and I love character building, especially like if I'm already endeared by these characters from what I've gotten from these 12 episodes so far and into the manga. Like I haven't read the B side. I'm intrigued. I'm trying to get around to doing that, but it's always hard to just find time to just read through a manga or watch the anime and
Yeah.
do adult shit because we're 30, so we're old and stuff. Well, I'm in my 40s, so I'm
Which
advanced.
I did also like. I also like. I like how they did. It's Shinomiya, the female,
Uh huh.
like not the captain, right? But like the
No, the
other
the super powered.
strong
Yeah.
female. Yes, I like when she first showed up. When like you guys watch the anime, right? When you
Uh
first
huh.
see her, you're like, oh, it's just gonna be some cranky know-it-all. Like you gotta always have one of those,
Spoiled
so on and
brat
so forth.
girls. Yeah. Cause
But as
she's
you go in, like it's again, like you said, the character, the relationships. It's she. I like her a lot as a character. Like obviously the captain, I like that with the captain they don't focus so much on her. Like she is obviously the top, but that's not who you need to center it on. It's like all these relationships and everyone else that he's surrounded with.
mm-hmm.
And even though she's this badass character just like Reno is, like or Ichikawa, like
Right.
they still like look at him as this like guy that they just look up to and want to like protect and be a part of like this team with. Like they are this new family that they're creating. And even the other characters that they started to introduce that they haven't really gone too much in detail with yet.
Yep.
It's more of like a rivalry that's happening with the lower, not the lower, but everyone else besides Kafka or whatever. Um, I don't know. I really, really, really like the characters, the personalities that they've chosen to have from like the writing and then the animation style. I will say, I guess there is some gripe though from some people who do read the manga or have read the manga all the way to where it's caught up to.
Right.
They This new character that's supposed to be introduced in season 2, they don't like the animation or how he was animated. I think he would like showed up in the last episode, so I won't give too much away, but that is
Ah.
like the only thing I have read or I saw that some people, which happens,
Right.
right? Like some animation styles with people, they expect to be one way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just like the style of um this studio
Yep.
is compared to like the drawing, it's not gonna, I don't want to say translate well, it's just not going to translate the same. So that's the only negative thing I've seen so far about the animation, is just that one character, which I don't really know too much about.
Yeah. I think another thing where I think this anime will be fine and this studio will continue to produce like amazing pieces of work is that they're doing the whole kind of with the manga, just having a team work on different aspects of the animation. So they have the director is doing his thing. Scripts are being kind of worked in tandem with the creator by Ichiro Okuchi, right? Character designs, chief animation by Tetsu Nishio, and then art direction by Shinji Kimura, and then monster designs by Mahirio Madea. So it's like different people being able to just focus on creating the monsters, right? Instead of trying to draw them on top of trying to draw the main characters on top of trying to draw. So dividing and conquering instead of having people overworked trying to do everything all themselves, I
Yeah.
think will lead to the longevity and then the quality not dropping off of the animation as this thing continues. But not only is it big here in the States, worldwide, to the point where there's different languages that it's being adapted into: Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, English, French, German, Italian. Over in Italy, like it's the best-selling manga in history in Italy. So,
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah. So the fact that this is kind of spreading the way it is to the point where the more popular it gets, the more dialects it's going to be subbed and dubbed in and things like that. So it's already off to a good start. But the character designs, the voice acting for it, as our show continues, we'll start getting into kind of talk about the voice actors because I think they deserve to get some shine too because they do amazing work, both subbed and dubbed. So I'm starting to go back and watch some of the animes that I have watched in sub, trying to go back and watch them in dub because when I go to these anime conventions and Comic Cons, like it's mostly the dubbed voice actors that show up, and I hate going up to them and be like, I love the anime you work on, but I haven't heard your voice as this character,
Yeah.
it sucks because I want to give them shine too because they do work, and I hear a lot of dubbed anime, which used to get ragged on for being horribly voice acted. A visitor. Is that
Yeah,
Tucker?
it is Tucker.
What up, Tuck?
Yeah, he's getting mad because I'm not giving him attention. He's been meowing.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. You just not showing love to the kiddo. Actually, if
He
you're just
originally was fine, and then
right.
now he started getting angry. So he's been walking across the other computer desk we have, and he started making his way over
It's
here.
like,
And I'm like, he's gonna walk on the.
I know you see me.
Oh,
What up, Kaylee?
hey, look who it is!
What up, man? Thanks for tapping in.
Hey.
But yeah, so the first season, like we talked about, it ended. But to note is after the airing of the final episode, a sequel was announced. So in August
Yep.
2024, it was announced that it will be a second season to premiere in 2025, which is dope. It was also announced that a compilation film of the first season and an original episode entitled Hoshina's Day Off, which is the vice captain, will screen
Yeah.
together in Japan theaters in 2025. Crunchyroll will stream the second season. So Crunchyroll obviously has I guess the exclusive rights to keep this on their streaming service, which I am 100% cool with. So speaking of that, one of your favorite parts of the anime so far, or there's been tons of fights, tons of action scenes. Give me like a couple, two of your favorite fights or action scenes, or just scenes in general from the first season of this anime.
Yeah, I want to try and say it without spoiling it too. But I would say the first one I ever think of is with Captain. Sorry, I want to make sure that because I'm really bad with names all the time. Yeah, okay. Captain Hoshina, or Vice Captain
Yes.
Hoshina, leading up to when he finally decides to come out on the field. He's just making fun of Kafka the whole time. But when he finally gets out there and he shows off his strength and fighting style, that was one of the most insane fight scenes I've seen in a while. It reminded me of the
Fam.
sound Hashira
Fam.
a little bit, and then the freaking what is it, the stone Hashira, it's just insane. And then Levi, it just all of it, just the animation and just how he just switched. This dude is straight up, he's chill, he's fun, he's a really likable character, and then he just switches and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So that's one of my most favorite action scenes, if you will. And I think one of my more other favorite ones is, it's more towards the end, and I won't say too much, but it just kind of shows how loved and I don't want to say it. What's the word I'm thinking of? How much Kafka's team appreciates him. It's a scene where it's more like they want to back him up and be on his side and help him out as much as possible. And Kafka gets into a situation where we don't know what's going to happen. And you just realize that
the whole division
is on his side. And I think it was damn, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not.
Go ahead
it's
and
just
say
black
it.
watching, so if it is, just say it. But everyone salutes when he's going somewhere, and someone asks him you're saluting the captain, right? And it was Vice Captain Hoshina, and he's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And that's not
100%.
That's one of my most favorite. That one, and one that matches is kind of when Kafka's fighting someone, and Shinomiya is kind of there too, and the emotional aspect of it was really, really great. So there's funny ones that I really like too, but those things I really, really, really enjoyed. I really liked the the symbolism behind some of the things that the division does and what it means with Kafka and everything, and
yeah. Yeah, so to tag along to the first part where you're talking about who is it?
The vice captain, Hoshino.
Hoshina,
Or
yeah,
Hoshina.
yeah. I don't know
Hoshina,
why. Yeah,
sorry, I keep saying Hoshino.
no, it's fine. When he's he's doing his fight, because he comes across they're doing a standard, let's get this kaiju out of here. Kafka obviously turns into he dons his kaiju form to help out with the fight, and the vice captain just happens to be in the area and sees him. So the vice captain does not know it's Kafka. So he's just like,
Yeah.
oh, you're a numbered kaiju. Now I can get kind of serious. He always has to make sure his other squad mates aren't around, because when he goes all out, like, he can tend to go a little over the top and harm his people. So that's the fight you're talking about, where he's like joking and laughing, because they want to kick initially Kafka, like he's not strong enough to do it, and the vice captain's like, I'll keep him around, he could be on my team because I need the comic relief, right?
He's funny, and he's also just
Right.
he's funny. I just want to keep him
But
because he's funny.
I love the fact that he's like, there's something up with this dude, like something else about this dude. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna just keep my eye on him. But he goes from laughing and joking around to like fangs out type shit, like
Yep.
to end this threat. But after
it's
that
crazy
fight,
too. It's scary. Like this whole,
Yeah.
you know how an
Yeah.
anime characters get into their thing, but
Yeah.
it was just like sick.
But after the fight, they're back at the base and he's training, and Kafka just walks past the training room and he sees the vice captain reenacting that fight from memory, step by fucking step. And that's when you realize, like, this motherfucker is on a whole nother level. Like, he is deadly. So I love that part about it, how this man is like, he's the vice. Like, the fact when you sit and think about, like, he's not the best person on the squad, this guy. And then when you see Mina, you're just like, well, okay, yeah, she's like, she's the truth. But another part, and it's like you're saying, and I think this kind of ties into the character development part. So Shinomiya, the daughter, Kiroko, she ended up being saved by Kafka in one of these episodes. So she realizes, hey, bro, you're a fucking kaiju. Like, we're supposed to kill these motherfuckers. All that shit. He's like, I'm just here to try to help you guys defeat kaijus. If I start acting out, if I can't control myself, you got to kill me. She's like, 100%. You don't got to ask me twice. So there comes a incident, because her dad is the fucking director of the Defense Force. So her dad is like the guy. So Kafka and him ended up, they have to fight in one of these episodes, and she's watching it, and she's torn, because she's like, I know Kafka's a good dude, but at the same time, he's a kaiju. And the amazing thing about that is her dad is so powerful. He's able to use weapons that were designed from kaiju. So he is tapping into a level of power.
Number 2.
Yep. So when you watch that fight, that is one of the most epic things in this thing. I'm just like, bro, like people are about to, like, I'm like, somebody's not making it out of this shit, bro. Like, somebody's not making it out of this shit.
This season's about to end real quick.
Credits are about to roll real quick for somebody. Like, but yeah, you got to tap in and check that thing out. But yeah, so those are like two of my favorite parts. But emotionally, the part where Kafka's walking, he's being escorted by the captain and the vice captain, and his squad mates all salute, and they're just like, the suit's for the captain, right? Yeah, sure, yeah. And we all know what it is, because I was in my living room saluting the boy, like, you're a G, bro, like, respect. Yep. You knew you were going to get exposed, but he was willing to do that to save his people, and then it led to that. Like, the selflessness of it is what I love about it. And then they in turn repay that respect. But please make sure to check it out. Like I said, all 12 episodes, first season on Crunchyroll. Get spun up on it. If you want to read ahead on the manga, you can feel free to do that. I do it. I use the Shonen Jump app, and then there's a couple other apps. But Shonen Jump is like $2 a month, and you get like all of them as they drop. So, with that being said, it is time for us to kind of shed some lights on a few anime that we feel you should be checking out on Keep This on Your Radar. Shout out to the homie Kenpachi. I know you're busy. Things are happening in life, but we haven't forgot about you. So whenever you join back, we are looking forward to your insightful anime input. But in the meantime, me and Jackie will hold it down. So I know Jackie had a few that she wanted to put you on. So go ahead.
All right. So some that are already out. And then there's one specific one that's coming up that I just think is interesting. Some that Sengoku Yoko is what it's called. I heard that it's about a brother and sister
Mm-hmm.
who are demons trying to figure out how to work alongside humans, essentially. The art looked really good. I haven't watched it, but it's on my watch list. I heard Go Go Loser Ranger is a good one. It's like Power Rangers,
But
but it's not
dark?
Power Rangers.
Is it like the
It's
dark Power Rangers or whatnot?
yeah, it's like the
Like the
bad
boys?
guys one. Yeah, 'cause apparently it's really funny. Um, the one I watch, it's called my. This one I don't know if it's gonna be good. I just kind of want to check it out and see. But it's the first newer anime I've seen where the whole entire anime is about like this girl who wants to get really viral on social media, and she's trying her hardest, and she meets this girl who's supposedly a vampire. It's called Man Naka Punch, and one of the scenes I watched is this girl just decides to just knock this one chick out into the wall, and it's like this comedy relief kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this next one, oh yeah,
Yep.
see, that's what I'm saying. I heard that Go Go Loser Ranger is like the next thing, like you have to watch it. Currently what I'm watching is I'm trying to catch up on, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up on Parasite. I'm old to the game for Parasite right now. I'm on episode like 11 right now, so I'm getting there. It's 24 episodes, so I'll be done soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then if anyone hasn't watched or heard of Shadow's House, I don't know like what you're doing, but you should definitely watch it. It's a mystery drama kind of thing. It's weird. It's different. And then this one anime, and we're gonna show a clip because it is so ridiculous that I want to watch it just to see what it's about. It's called My Dear Friend Nakotan, but it's deer as in like the animal deer. And let's just play this scene.
Yeah. So Jen's asking which Parasite, and the one we're talking about is
Oh,
Parasite
Parasite
Maxim.
Maxim.
So I know Netflix just put out a 6-episode Parasite the Gray live action, which was pretty
Okay.
good. But here is the clip that you were telling me about. So I'm gonna click play. Let me know if you guys get audio. But you said started 10 seconds in and let it ride. So this is my first time
Yeah.
seeing it too. Before we went live, Jackie was telling me like she was laughing as she was trying to find it. So I know it's gonna be hilarious. So let's all sit back and check this out.
あれなんでまた引っかかってんだ。学習しろ。
What the fuck?
さあ鹿の子さんご挨拶して鹿の子の子ですのこたんと呼んでね
面白い子だね。
鹿だねなんで普通に歓迎してんの私がおかしいの席は
Yo, she got glass in her
隣
head.
が空いてるわね
学園ものあるあるなぜか都合よく空いてる席
That's it. I saw that scene and I was like, what is this anime? And apparently she also turns into a deer, and the deer is a complete different animation style. It's like hyper realistic compared to everything else.
Yo, she just busted in there and they're just like taking fucking shrapnel and fucking debris to the face. Like, yo, this is cool.
The funniest part was the background music.
Yeah, it's like this
what?
fucking
What?
like a boss level type shit. Like the boss is coming in and they're just like, bow, clapping and shit.
Dude, I don't know what it's about. I think it's just this weird slice of life about this chick who's a deer. Dude, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And I want to watch it so bad because it's so stupid.
Yeah, I guess we got people looking forward to checking this shit out.
Dude, it's the dumbest thing. I was like, what is this show right now?
Yeah.
Seriously, that's funny.
So I
The
think
last one I would say that's coming up is apparently they're making a Rick and Morty anime.
does it
I don't
need
know
an
how I feel about
anime?
that. I don't know how I feel about that.
Is it? I would say, is it being like? Are they working with the? I guess one of the creators of Rick, because I know the other dude like in trouble for some wild ass shit. But
So the Rick and Morty anime that like, see, it's supposed to be on Adult Swim. It's a Japanese language version with English subtitles. So it's supposed to be coming out August 17th. I don't know why they made it. I didn't do a lot of research on it. I just saw that it was coming out like 2 days ago. I saw it, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Why
for
why
what?
are they making an anime?"
For what?
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
just because the overall hype that is anime, and they're just deciding to do it to maybe bring more people back to regular Rick and Morty because it's been going on for so long. And Rick and Morty was, I think, in my personal opinion, was hyped for a while, and I don't know if it's just kind of like died off a little bit with its fandom because a lot of people don't talk about it anymore, at least.
Yeah, it's kind of taboo because one of the main creators, I think Justin Freeland or whatever, I forget his name, got caught for some Chris Hansen type shit.
Okay.
So people are like kind of distancing themselves from it or whatnot. But I mean, there's still the diehards that are just like, bro, you haven't like. I'm one of the people that have not gotten into it. I have no desire to like catch up on Rick and Morty, and people are just like, "What do you mean you haven't watched Rick and Morty? I'll bring my DVDs."
I like Rick and Morty.
Right.
I watched it all the way up until I heard that, and it's kind of
Right.
hard because like I really do like Rick and
Right.
Morty. It's really funny.
I mean, the Justin dude is Froyland. Like he has been kicked off and all that stuff. So the people still working on
Yeah.
they've distanced themselves. They're like, hey, we don't really agree with this man. We don't really fuck what he's doing. But people got to eat. We have people drawing and animating and stuff. We don't want to put them out of work.
I mean, that's the
so-
best thing they can do is get rid of the person that like was doing bad stuff, so they can still continue to make a good show without
Right.
like a bad person.
Yeah. For me, I just have the one, and I posted it in the group page or the show page. It's the Wisteria Wand and Sword. So this one is kind of it's another anime that takes place in the world where like magic is normal. It's being practiced, and the people who don't know how to do magic are looked upon as less than, right? Kind of like how I know you mentioned
Like Mashal?
Mashal. But this one, like, it's animated by Bandai Namco, and if you don't know, Bandai Namco is usually the developers of all these,
Video
JRPGs
games.
that come over here, like Tales of what's the last one they did? Tales of Asteria.
Arise.
Oh,
Tales of
bro,
Arise.
that game, man, I put so many hours into that thing. Cutscenes beautifully done. Music is lit. So all of that good stuff, which I enjoyed. But this one is animated.
Sorry, you broke up. Tales of Arise.
Tales of Arise, yeah. So they've done the cutscenes. I think they teamed up with Ufotable. Ufotable actually animated the cutscenes for Tales of Arise. So that whole game is dope. But they're actually in charge.
Really?
Yeah, in charge of the animation for Wisteria. And like episode 1 off rip, you're just like, yo, this shit. I don't know what budget is. Maybe they're using the JRPG money because they go all out for the animation for this one. So it starts off, obviously your protagonist is the guy who can't do magic, right? You got your bullies in there that are like prestigious magic users. They're like, bro, you're bringing down the credibility of the school. Get the fuck out. I think the biggest part is the main character. His name is Will. So I'm just like, yeah. He's got to be that dude, right? He's got to be that dude. But without giving it away, another childhood promise thing. His friend was a magic prodigy, leveled up to the grandest level of magic users, and he's like, I'll meet you at the top and we can, continue to do the. She's like, cool, I'll wait for you. So he's on his grind to get there. But obviously, he can't use magic. But because he couldn't do magic, he just developed other traits as far as like melee combat, things like that. Instead of a wand, he carries the sword, and people are like, there's a story behind it. So just check that out. It's simulcasting now, so it's live. So if you want to check it out, there's 4 episodes out now. 3 of them are dubbed. The newest one isn't dubbed yet, so if you don't mind checking out and reading while watching, I know it's an acquired skill, but make sure to check that out. But I'm sure at the end of when it's all said and done, this is probably going to be up there in competition with some of the anime of the year, which for a minute, the first, I guess, quarter of this year, I didn't think we'd have a lot of new IPs that'll be challenging, Demon Slayer and My Hero probably for that anime of the year position, but with Kaiju and Shangri-La Frontier, Mashal, I think
Another good one.
I think these I think there's some competition out here for the anime that was kind of dominating for the past few years. So if you have a
I
chance,
kind of like it that now all these different animes are now going to be a part of that lineup rather than like what's like. I mean, I love obviously Attack on Titan, My Hero, Attack on Titan, all that, but like they've always dominated like almost every single category. I'm excited to see other animes now coming through and seeing a more wide breadth of like all the different ones that can take the title.
Yep. So I mean, I'm a fan of these the sword and sorcery ones. So a lot of them, I think the biggest one that came out that a lot of people just say, a lot of these new ones like Mashal and Wistoria's copying is like, oh, is this a Black Clover ripoff? Like, ladies and gentlemen, I'll let you know, like, magic is involved, but each one of these things is doing something completely different than Black Clover did, right? So I don't like. Me and Jackie talked about it. We're not the biggest fans of the anime version of Black Clover. Like, I think if you want to take in that story, it'll probably be easier on your ears and your soul if you just read it, so you can make the voices in your head. Because either sub or dubbed, it's the main character.
Doesn't matter. I watched both just to see if it would get better. And I even asked people that. Oh, Eric Johnson just asked, "Is solo leveling good?"
It is. It's great. It is. And that's another one I was talking about. A new IP coming out that's going to be contending for this top spot for the crown of best anime of 2024. Solo Leveling.
This is gonna break from me. Listen to eternity. Come on, Dark Aria level 2. Come on.
Exactly. You got to check that out. And I will let you guys know if you guys do not have a Crunchyroll. I will give you my login stuff. Everybody in here is fam. You got to check these things out, man, because, I will give Demon Slayer and My Hero, or I think Ufotable, like when they blew up with Demon Slayer, other animation companies were like, we got to up it. We got to up it, and we got to match the quality and have that quality continue and be consistent throughout. So a lot of these guys are stepping up, and I think we as the fans are profiting and benefiting greatly from that. So unless you got anything else you want to put them on, we can go back to our regularly scheduled program and wrap the show up.
Nope, nothing else.
All right. Hell's Paradise, Hell's Yeah. I watched that. I saw you put that in there. See, there's so many, they're just slipping my mind, but Hell's Paradise is
I've
amazing.
watched Hell's Paradise. It is, dude.
Right.
I'm going to go pee real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, go ahead. While she's gone, I will say, Demon Slayer good or One Piece good? So One Piece, I will say, I see clips of the newer episodes where the animation is amazing and everything. A lot of the hardcore fans are saying that the character development, because it's been running so long, you get a lot of the backstory, a lot of character arcs. People who you hated end up doing some things, almost like along the lines of I want to say like a Game of Thrones. If you're watching Jaime Lannister, you're like, bro, this dude is the absolute worst. He does some courageous stuff, and you're like, man, Jamie's one of he's a solid dude, and then some other shit will happen. But I think the fact that it's gone for so long and there's very few filler episodes, the consistency of One Piece, I think that is why people swear by it. And as I'm on episode like 297, and like it's hard to like catch up. One day it's going to end, and then everybody will be able to catch up without falling behind One Piece. But I will say I'm looking at some of the clips from the newer episodes and things like that. The animation is probably the hardest part people are having when it comes to One Piece. Is they try to start it from episode 1 after watching things like Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan. You're just like, oh my God, this Fox Kids Saturday morning animation is tough to watch. But because it was like early 90s that was going on up until now. So you gotta tough through. You gotta tough through.
Listen, I am a huge One Piece fan.
Tell them how you caught up. COVID is how Jackie caught up, ladies and gentlemen.
I am probably, this is not the healthiest, but maybe all of my fellow true nerds that don't have kids, can understand. I would wake up, I'm not kidding when I say this, I woke up, I set an alarm. I would wake up at 6 in the morning. I would make coffee, I would eat breakfast, and then I turn on One Piece. And I watched it from like 7 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. Back to back, 2 weeks straight, because I was quarantined and I didn't stop. I slept on my couch. That was my freaking bed. And did I shower? Up for debate. But it doesn't matter. This is back when it was COVID. Like what?
Right.
It was and I was stationed somewhere where we could do things over the computer, but
yeah.
I was actually sick. I actually tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
So but I wasn't down bad. So I did lose my sense of smell, but I was like, I feel okay. So
right.
I just binge watched.
Click.
And then I got quarantined again later on in the year, I can't remember. It was maybe 8 months later.
Mm-hmm.
So for 2 weeks again, I went from episode 348 to 600 something. In 2 weeks, man. I caught up so fast and I just kept watching. I could not stop watching it. When I first started watching it, and this was a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know if I liked it. I didn't know if I can get into it. I thought the animation style, when I was younger, I thought it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I got older, and I was talking to a lot of, this is when I started getting into more anime instead of just watching some stuff. I was getting into a lot more. Everyone's like, you gotta watch it. It's so good. It was you know him. It was August.
Yeah.
He was the one who's like, gotta watch it. So I was like, okay, fine. And then I think for me, it was after episode 30. Unfortunately, for some people, it was once they got in the 200s, then they were like, oh, wow, this is really sick. And that I was like, dude, screw you guys. But also, thank you for the dedication to stay that long. But it's just, One Piece is just, it's hard because, it's very intimidating. It's over 1,000 episodes. Even the manga, if you want to read the manga, it's so much.
Jesus, yeah.
But the amount of world building that this dude has created, and the amount of effort that he's put into just building, how everything just kind of ties back to itself, and just, I don't know, man. And now the animation is just insane now.
Yeah.
I do find it now kind of going back to the old days of shonen shoujo, where sometimes a whole episode is them just talking before they fight sometimes. I started noticing that a little bit in some of the recent arc that just happened. I was kind of getting pissed
Yeah.
a little bit. But then when the things happened, I was like, okay, this is like worth it. It wasn't too bad where like Dragon Ball Z was like absolute awful
Oh
until
my
they came out
God.
with Dragon Ball Kai. But I don't know. I will swear by One Piece to this day, forever and ever. Like it's so good. Don't watch the English dub. It's awful.
That's what and here's the bad part. Like I'm watching the English dub because like it's on, but I'm like doing stuff. So I want to be able to hear what's going on. So like if I go in the kitchen to do something and come back, I'm just not like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? You know, I want to hear if they're about to fight something. I'll be like, oh shit, let me run in here. I try watching it sub, and then like I go turn and do something or go check on my kid, and I come back. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? And I have to go back. So
That's different. You have a family.
Yeah.
It's harder to like sit and actually dedicate yourself to like the sub.
exactly.
It's just me and Steven and our cats, man. Cats are easy to take care of. You can just sit and watch it.
Be like, hey, just sit down and watch this with us.
Yeah,
but
man.
yeah.
Love.
I'm gonna get there because I mean the people that I trust when it comes to anime, they're like, bro, One Piece is it, and they're swearing up and down by it. And if it's going on for this long, and like I said, I've seen clips of the later episodes, the animation has caught up to modern times, so they're able to just do more with the fights and the animation and stuff. So I'm just like, I see that, I'm like, I want to get there, but I have to get through here. You know,
That's
so
how I feel right now with Bleach, because I stopped watching Bleach when it stopped airing at like episode, it was like 220. 220, it went to a 60 long like episode filler arc.
Yep.
Before it went into like
Back to the Arankar fucking saga.
yes,
and
but even then it stopped for a while,
Yep.
and now it picked back up. But I stopped watching it and started watching others, and I never went back into it. So now me and Steven are trying to like catch back up and watch it, but the animation, and even if you switch it to 720p, it doesn't matter. It's
Nope.
it's so like blurry. It's tough. Like, cause back then I used to think Bleach was like top tier animation when I watched it when it came out,
Right.
and now I'm watching, 10 years later, I'm like, damn, dude. This
And if
sucks.
you've seen the 1,000-Year Blood War, you're just like, this is the animation I needed back then for this story. Like the Bankais and stuff back then, you're just like, man, this
Wow.
is next level stuff. You watch 1,000-Year Blood War, you're just like, Sam, this is Bleach. This
But
is
you
what
know
I
what
needed.
what
What's up?
frustrates me sometimes is I will watch Bleach like when it came out in 2000. It was like 2008 or something, or 2010.
Yeah.
And then I'll watch like, I don't know, I'll watch like Yu Yu Hakusho, or I'll watch Cowboy Bebop, right?
Uh-huh.
Made in like 90s, early 2000s animes.
Mhm.
Their anime style is not that blurry. It's not that bad. So I don't understand what happened after, like, I just want to say like it's like 2005 to like 2010 almost, that in between.
I'll tell
There's
you.
a time it's like where they were trying to do good, but it wasn't catching up to whatever TV was trying to display.
Right. I just think they were just rushing because, like we talked about, like the manga story for Bleach was just the Arankar arc, right? You know, Aizen did his shit. Ichigo trains. He goes to Espada or whatever, wherever they're at, and or what is it? I forget the name.
Hueco Mundo.
Yeah, and goes fights the Espadas and all that stuff. So I'm sitting there watching the anime. I'm just like, man, this is dope. So I think the animation company was just like, bro, just put some shit out there. Just keep this weekly shit coming. So like the quality probably wasn't there to the point where they can, do like how One Piece, you can go back. I think they just released like the HD versions of
Yeah,
the
now they
early
did it,
ones
and now you
stuff.
can actually like
So
enjoy
yeah,
it more.
so I think that has a lot to play in it. But like I said, I'm never gonna badmouth One Piece. The only thing I will say is like, bro, like that like I'm gonna have to put a lot of other anime on hold, a lot of other shows that I'm trying to watch on hold, and just focus and sit down and watch this thing so I can catch up. But that's
but that
a
would
heavy
take
lift.
you a while, and with the amount of podcasts that you
Yeah.
do with animes, you're
That's
never.
a
It's like
heavy
you're gonna have
lift.
to watch One Piece like every other day.
Yeah.
It's gonna take you forever before you.
I just
catch
need
up.
to just catch COVID and sit my ass down somewhere and watch it. That's the secret.
You just
Yeah.
have to have an addictive personality like some of us do, where we could just sit down and like not move or shower for 3 days.
Yeah, but So that's all we got. Episode 4, Kaiju number 8. Final, I guess, obviously, I know I will tell you I recommend it. I'm assuming Jackie will tell you the same. Tap into it.
Oh yeah.
Get caught up. It's only 12
Watch
episodes
the
in.
opening. Watch the ending. It's sick.
Yep. But we'll talk offline. We'll try to figure out what we're going to talk about next time, and we'll keep you guys in the loop. But until then, I'm the homie Mac, aka your boy. This is the awesome anime loving homie, One Piece connoisseur, Jack Attack. And this has been Eat the Cake Anime. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.